What is up, you guys? It is your boy Brenton Biggers here, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions and why they are probably winners of winning the NFC North. Now, before we get into the video, I have made all of the NFC North, so if you guys haven't checked any of them or any of my videos in the series, I would recommend, maybe not now, but eventually to get into those videos. Those videos were very fun, and I also really like the series in general. Also, please like the video. I really appreciate it. If you're new, subscribe. I hate saying it, but that's just what I gotta say. But anyway, let's get right into it. So let's start off with the Detroit Lions and what they were heading into last year. And we're talking about the second half, not the first half. That's a different story. This was a team that was relatively creeping up for a playoff spot, which is something weird to say about the Lions, because, well, they're the Lions. Just look at their history. This team had barely missed out on the postseason. And it was because of a division tie with the Seahawks. They lost that in like week 2 or 3 or something. But this team was relatively pretty good heading in towards the end of the season. Their defense had a lot of work to do, which is what they did during the offseason. They signed players like Emmanuel Moses, Cameron Sutton, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Those are some big-time players. And they also signed a player like David Montgomery, which might have been a question mark, but we'll get to that later. And then you got the draft, which was relatively interesting, to be honest. Like, why draft players like Jack Campbell, Jamon Gibbs in the first round, and also draft Hendon Hooker, which could turn out to be a very good pick, but it just doesn't make any sense. You'd think you would go to a team that actually need a quarterback in like 1 to 2 years. Not like the Lions, who probably already have their quarterback in Jared Goff. Which, yes, people are like the Lions are saying that this is their guy now. So, yeah. But let's start off with the 2 picks, Jamondre Gibbs and Jack Campbell. Now, DeAndre Swift got traded to the Eagles, so it made this pick a little bit more sense. But why trade him and just use this for a different pick? That is strike 1. And here comes strike 2 with Jack Campbell. Was he one of the best linebackers in this class? Probably, but it wasn't a big time in terms of linebackers. This draft class is kind of like 2022, but proved a little bit more, but it's still not the best, especially if you're comparing it to like 2020, 2021, 2024. But it was still having some very good players like Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud, and stuff. I mean, I would have just picked Trenton Simpson or Drew Andrews, maybe even Drew Sanders over getting Jamondre Gibbs. And also, if you really wanted a young running back this badly, why not just use the 6th overall pick for B.J. Robertson? Seriously. I honestly wouldn't blame you if you'd made that pick. Well, now that is, not before. But this was definitely a confusing pick, to say the least. Well, in my opinion, I think it's confusing. But then you got the other second round pick in Brian Branch, which was definitely a very good pick. I am very bad to the Packers to get him. But either way, it was a very good pick and a steal in the second round, to be honest. But this was a relatively very good draft for them. Maybe. But let's talk about, is this team a division winner? Yes, you could pretty much say that. If I had to pick, or if I had to bet on who's going to win the division, I probably would have to say the Lions or the Vikings. But one of those two teams, let's just say the Lions are favorites into winning the division, which is something we haven't really seen in quite some time. But this is a team that has been in rebuilding since 1957 or 8, I don't know, but you get what I mean. This team has not won a championship in quite some time. They have never made it to a Super Bowl once. This has been, in terms of since the 60s, one of the worst teams of all time. Maybe you could say that to the Browns, but you also could say that to the Lions as well. But am I saying that things can change and this team can finally make it to a Super Bowl? Yes. Yes, I do. But this team, with its history, just has to cause somewhat of a concern. I'm not saying that Dan Campbell is a bad head coach. No, he's not. He's arguably maybe a pretty good head coach. But it's just, I'm a little concerned with this team and its history. And the offense probably got lucky. They kind of got lucky last year. Look at their offensive arsenal they have right now. They have Jared Goff, who is definitely a good quarterback. That's for sure. And then they have David Montgomery and Jermaine Gibbs. I know a good 2-punch, but do they really run the football that much? Receivers. Jameson Williams has been suspended for 6 games, so you're not going to expect him to be on the game until like week 6 or 7, and then he's probably going to slow down until maybe like week 10 or 14, between that area. And then you have St. Brown, which is like your only really true big receiver. Then they have to rely on Sam Laporta to be their number 2 option for 6 weeks. That's a bit of a concern right there. And yes, then they have a very good offensive line. So you kind of see here, but their pass catchers aren't really in particular good. They did sign Marvin Jones Jr., but do you really expect him to be a WR2 at best? I don't think he's like that anymore. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. And it's kind of sad to see. So now you're like, oh wait, don't they? But again, Ron St. Brown could still be doing it. But the question is, will he stay healthy? I had him on my fantasy team, and he was getting injured. And I was not happy about it. St. Brown, arguably, is still a good, great, maybe even a late receiver. But will he stay healthy? And will he be will he find opportunities to catch the ball? That is a big question with that team. This team probably is going to slump for the first 6 weeks. And I don't think anybody would blame that. But with an easy division and with probably an easy schedule, this is definitely a team that can be arbitrarily good. It's just, it's going to rely on, will Jameson Williams be the receiver that we were all thinking he was going to be back in 2022? You know, it's really interesting. Do I say that this team is making a deep playoff run? Oh, absolutely not. They're not quite there yet. But quite is still progress. And I'm saying not quite there. I think for Lions fans, they really should just be happy that they are considered the favorites to win in the North. Because the fact that you're considered that is a blessing from God himself. And, I mean, do I consider any other team to win the division? Yes, I do consider the Bears, which will be, again, you'll probably already see that video maybe. And then you have the Vikings, which, yes, made a lot. They lost some things, but they did add and improve somewhat on that team in some capacities. But Lions may have an easy division and might be a sweet little playoff run for them. Well, to get to the playoffs, I mean. But will they really make a Super Bowl run? No, I don't think so. But anyway, that is going to be it. Again, I also included this with my Bears video. If you're wondering why I'm wearing the same shirt, it's because I'm recording this to make it later. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Peace.